Hi, Soulmates. Welcome to class. My name is Justice. In this class, I'm going to be showing us different formulas and calculations that we need in order to get the right measurements that we need to make our dresses. Now, taking accurate measurements on the body is very important, but there are times when it may be necessary that we do calculations. Maybe the measurements are not handy. Okay, so we can do calculations that accurately work in order for us to continue what we are cutting rather than waiting for somebody who may not be available, or we are into ready to wear. We can use these measurements, formulas and calculations to get what we actually need. Okay, so first on our list, by the way, this is the Honest Fashion House and Academy, and if you've not subscribed, please do it to subscribe. If you've not liked, continue watching. In the end, you're going to like and you're going to come back for more. Okay, so first on our list is our neck width measurement. So for our neck width measurement, in case we did not take it, I'm going to give us two formulas that are going to work. Number one is neck circumference divided by 5. This is where to take the neck circumference. Of course, we all know where our neck is. So this is our neck circumference. Make sure it is not too tight. It is something that can allow the person to reach. You can see that it is free. Okay, so whatever you've got, my neck circumference is 15. So I'm going to divide 15 by 5. And that is going to give us 3 inches. Now the next measurement, the next calculation or the next formula that we're going to use to get our neck width is going to be our bust circumference. Our bust circumference divided by 12. Okay? Bust. So we're working with the bust of 38. 38 divided by 12 is going to give us 3.1. So what is the difference between 3 and 3.1? The difference is not much. They're almost the same thing. So where are we going to impute this measurement that we've just gotten? This is our paper, this is our fabric, this is whatever we want to use to cut. So from the CF or center back, wherever we want to begin, we're going to measure our neck width. Either you're using this measurement, this formula, or you're using this formula, whichever one it is, we're going to measure it from here to here. Okay? Now, for whatever you have as your neck depth, neck width, you're going to mark the same thing as your neck depth for the front. If you have 3 inches for your neck width, you're going to mark 3 inches for your neck depth. For the front, this is basic guide. Okay, so we're going to mark the same thing for the front. And then for the back, the measurement is 1 inch for a standard measurement. 1 inch, and some persons can use 0.75. All right? And some can also use 1.5, but it depends on what you're making. For standard, 1 inch is the basic. So this is for the back and this is for the front, assuming everything is folded together. I hope this is clear. Now we move over to the next calculation that we're going to be needing. Now the next measurement that we can get with our calculation is the shoulder. The shoulder, taking measurement for the shoulder is very important, whereby you cannot take the measurement, you can calculate it. And for us to calculate it, we're going to use our bust circumference. So the bust circumference is, so for the formula we have bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5. So bust circumference here is 38 divided by 6 plus 1.5, and that is going to give us 7.8. So we're going to locate 7.8. This is our shoulder line from this point to where the 7.8 is going to stop. And we're going to mark it this way. Okay? Now from this neck point to where the shoulder stops, we're going to slant the shoulder because it's not supposed to be straight. So this is our shoulder length, starting from the neck point to where the shoulder stops, 1 inch for the back and 1.5 for the front. So this is for the front, this is for the back 1 inch, and this is for the back, for the front 1.5 inch. For the back 1 inch, for the front 1.5 inch. Now note that when you're drafting your pattern, you're not going to draft it this way. This is just an example. If you're drafting for the back, if you're drafting for the front, the measurements that you need, not that you're going to put everything on fold this way. I hope this makes clear. Okay, so the next calculation we need for our measurement is the armhole depth. The armhole depth. Armhole depth, we're still going to make use of our bust circumference, and we're going to still divide by 6 plus 1.5. So it is still going to give us 7.8. So what this basically is telling us that for our shoulder, if you don't use this measurement, you can actually use this when you have your armhole depth already. So to impute the armhole depth, we're going to be starting from the back. So we clean this line from the front. We're going to be starting from the back, and the measurement is going to be starting after this 1 inch shoulder slope. Okay, so we're going to impute 7.8 from this shoulder slope to wherever it is going to stop. So this becomes our armhole depth. Alright? Now we're going to take another calculation for a different measurement. What we need is our bust point. Our bust point is from our shoulder point to the bust apex. That is the bust point. Okay? So assuming we do not have this measurement, what are we going to do? We need to calculate it, and our calculation is using the bust circumference. So you can see that the bust circumference is very, very important. Whatever you're doing, you make sure you have your bust circumference, because it's going to enable you to get other calculations that you're going to be needing. So bust circumference divided by 4 plus 1. We're working with 38 divided by 4. It's going to give us 9.5 plus 1 equals to 10.5. So if your bust circumference is 38, your bust point is going to be 10.5, and that is exactly what it is. Okay? Now, since we've gotten this, the next that is on our list is our bust span measurement. Bust span measurement is our nipple to nipple measurement. This is how to take the bust span measurement from one bust point to the next bust point, from one nipple point to the next nipple point. That is our bust span. Now, to get this calculation on the measurement where we could not take the measurement, this is what we are going to do using our bust circumference. We are going to do bust circumference divided by 8 minus 1. So our bust circumference is 38 divided by 8 minus 1, and that is going to give us what? 3.75. So use your calculator and check it. 3.75. So if your bust circumference is 38, your bust span is going to be 3.75. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now the next on our list is our under bust measurement. Our under bust measurement is from this shoulder point to the under bust. Okay, how do we get this measurement when we could not take it on the body? Now, since we have our bust point and we have our bust span, it is very easy to get the under bust. So what we're going to do is bust point plus bust span equals to under bust. So bust point is 10.5 plus bust span of 3.75 equals to under bust of 14.2. 14.25, right? Okay, so this is our underbust, 14.25. You do the calculation, it's going to give us 14.25. If you do not have your underbust, this is how to get the underbust measurement. Another formula or another method we can use is to add 3 inches to our bust point. Now, if we add 3 inches to our bust point, very likely we are missing out um, 0.75. Okay, so this is a perfect method to get your underbust measurement. Next on our list is our waist length. To get our waist length, all we have to do is to add 3 inches to our underbust length. So the underbust length here is 14.2. We're adding 3 inches to it, and whatever it gives us is going to serve as our waist length. So it's going to give us 17.25. So this is going to serve as our waist length. So you're going to be using your actual measurement, and whatever it gives you, this is what you're going to be getting as your waist length. So impute the measurements that we've gotten. We're going to be measuring from our shoulder line, not from the slanted line. This slant is only for our armhole. For our bust point, we're going to measure from the shoulder line to where the bust point is going to be. For our underbust, we're going to measure from the underbust to where the underbust is going to be. And for our waistline, we're going to measure to where our waistline is going to be. Okay, so we're not measuring from the shoulder slant. Now for the bust span that we've gotten, we're going to measure it from the center front to inside. We assume that this is the front that we're working, and we can also assume that it is the back that we're working, whichever one. This is just an illustration. So this is our bust point, our under bust, and our waistline. So from the bust point, we're going to measure our bust span divided by 2, which is going to give us 3.75. Okay, so it is already divided 3.75. We're going to mark it straight down, and that is it. So we're going to move on to another measurement that we may be needing calculations to get. Now the next on our list is how to tighten our underbust. How are we going to tighten our underbust? And to tighten it, this is just one formula that works. Okay, there are so many other methods that we can use, but this is one that can work for anybody. So the formula we have here is bust circumference divided by 4 minus underbust circumference divided by 4. So here we have our bust circumference, we're going to divide it by 4, and here we have our underbust circumference divided by 4. So the bust circumference divided by 4, the answer is going to be minusing underbust circumference divided by 4. Now to impute this, we have 38 divided by 4, and that 38 divided by 4 is going to give us 9.5, and underbust is 30 divided by 4, and that is going to give us 7.5. So altogether, we're going to minus this from this, and it is going to give us 2 inches. 2 inches. That is the answer that we have. So this 2 inches is what we're going to use to tighten our underbust. So this is the underbust. Coming to this point, we're going to mark 0.75 here, and we're going to mark 1.2, which is what is remaining. So we connect from the bust point to this part, and we connect from here to this part. So whatever we have, we're going to bring it straight down, and we're going to bring this straight down. I hope this makes sense for underbust tightening. Try it with your measurements and see how it is going to come out. I've tried it and it works very well, and I've been using it. Now in our next video, we're going to continue with everything about the sleeve, the off shoulder sleeve, and also the trouser crotch and the rest of them. If you need to watch this next video where you're going to be learning a lot, you need to subscribe so that you see me whenever I upload a new video. Come back next time and it's going to be wow. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next